So where we left off on the previous video, Victor and Ravonna Renslayer were on a nearby ship that he used to travel quite often, the way he was talking to the ferryman and everything. And they share a few moments together. And while doing so on the ship, uh, Victor begins to share his designs and notes he made in his TVA guidebook, including a device he even made called a throughput multiplier. And he believed that the throughput multiplier could be a big useful help in the TVA fixing the loom. Him and Renslayer even began to discuss how the TVA guidebook was brought to him, and he ends up finding out that anyway, she was the one who brought it to him in the first place. Which, if you remember earlier on in the episode, she literally was. Then, strangely over that, they start bonding, and as soon as they do, she tells Victor she really enjoys the man that he's becoming, and can't wait to see where their partnership leads them. And you already know how Victor feels about partnerships. He was established that earlier in the episode at his presentation. And when she's taking this nap on his ferry, Victor, not liking partnerships at all, like he said earlier in the episode, throws her overboard and reminds her that he doesn't do partnerships. And the crazy thing about that was Miss Minutes stayed behind, so she's being a big manipulator in all of this. We then cut to Victor and Miss Minutes arriving at the Wisconsin lab, and Victor desperately tries to gather his notes that he thinks will help the TVA while he lets Miss Minutes, as he put it, have a float. Soon after he does, he says okay, he's ready to go and everything, gathered all his notes. Miss Minutes actually suggested for him to lay low and forget about all that. That's what I mean about her being a manipulator. She's got something big up her sleeve. I really want to find out what it is, too. I guess we'll see. She then proceeds to go on this rant about how Victor owes her after everything she's done for him and his variants in the TVA and the multiversal war and etc. And how would he even know about any of that yet? That's crazy. They keep bringing all this stuff up to him. He don't even know about it yet. Well, now he does, but you understand what I'm saying. They even make a crazy Pinocchio-like reference to her wanting an actual body even, and to be his girlfriend because she was fully aware due to him making her that way. She then goes on to proceed and say they thought they'd be a good team, and of course that was the key word for Victor. As crazy as she already was being about wanting to be a real person, just put her back into her cage basically that they keep her in. And right after that confrontation with Miss Minutes and Victor, out of the shadows comes Renslayer finally sneaking in with a prototype pruning device, and she meant business. She used it to threaten Victor for throwing her overboard and disrupting her plan, telling him that he was just a variant and it wouldn't be any problem to get rid of him. She was just there to carry out He Who Remains' plan. Does she not connect the dots yet? And I understand she was a judge for all that time, but she seems really gullible and desperate to be playing off of so much emotion and not think logically. Part of it's probably the confusion, but that's why she should probably take a break, don't you think, and think it through? But her so caught up in her emotion, she had no intention on stopping killing Victor Timely, and Mobius even points out how the whole point of her was to have free will, and now she's just caught up in the middle of everything. She counteracts him by going on a rant about how she's just tired of cleaning up after everyone for eons and eons at the TVA, including Mobius, and she was going to be the one to bring order how she wanted this time. Renslayer then goes to try to prune Victor, But then suddenly Sylvie enters the room and blasts everybody back with a magic blast again. So there's that again. After Sylvie pretty much clears house, she then approaches Victor, still on her mission to get rid of all the Kang variants like she said she was going to. And when she does, Victor surprisingly gets her to reconsider by convincing her that he can make his own choices. He is not the same person as these others that she claims. And after that confrontation, surprisingly and reluctantly, she allows Loki and Mobius to take Victor Timely back to the TVA and do what they need to do to fix the Temple Loom. Or at least try. So, meanwhile, Mobius and Loki are taking Victor Timely back to the TVA. Sylvie says she'll handle Ravonna Renslayer one-on-one and confront her about all the things that she's been going around doing through time and space. We all know Ravonna Renslayer loves control, or being in a position of control. So during the confrontation, Sylvie confronted her and told her that since she wanted to see the power at the end of time so bad, here you go, and gave her a gift of kicking her through the wormhole into the end of time. And when she kicks Renslayer to the end of time, it's the exact end of time that we saw from season 1, the last episode, of where Loki and Sylvie confront He Who Remains. But this time, it looked like time was passing now, and his body was decaying. So she literally put Renslayer into the ruins of what happened from season 1. That was kind of crazy. So now we got Renslayer and Miss Minutes stuck in the ruins, and they're super upset, of course, that their plan didn't work out according to how it was supposed to go. And then Miss Minutes proceeds to tell Renslayer while they're there that he should have never made an enemy out of someone that knows all his secrets, implying that he basically fed her all the information so he didn't forget, because don't forget, he's like an infinite being. And while they're both sitting there at the end of time, Miss Minutes even has the audacity to tell Renslayer she even knows a pretty big secret about her that's going to change the way she sees everything, and not in a good way. Probably make it worse. And that's when the episode ended. So I guess we'll see on the next episode what happens. Thanks for watching. Until next time, y'all take care.